Welcome back, fight fans. I go by the name of Barak.
And I'm Barak, the boxing bully.
And this is the DAZN Boxing Show, home of all things boxing. And obviously this weekend we had some phenomenal fights on DAZN, and we had a little controversy on DAZN. So we'll get into that all right now on the opening bell. Barak, obviously we have to talk Munguia Ryder, but the co-main event, very entertaining knockout in the co-main, but we have to set things off talking about the stoppage with Fundora and Cruz. Now, I think there are people on both sides of the coin on this one. I know your opinion on it, and pretty much don't agree with the stoppage. And correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're definitely right for once in your life. I didn't agree with the stoppage. I've seen times, very few times, where referees catch the punch that's behind the head that just stopped the moment, just stopped the fight. Basically, either they got knocked down or they hurt. But I think sometimes it's smart for the fighter to do what the referee does. Referee always, he's always magnifying his movement, so he want to let people know, don't hit behind the head, you know, letting the whole world see what he's telling a fighter. And I think sometimes the referee, the fighter should say, hey, you know, I just got hit in the back of the head. Sometimes fighters do that when they didn't get hit in the back of the head. But this one was blatantly not on purpose, definitely not intentional, because Cruz kind of turned, you know, got off balance and got hit in the back of the head. And if the referee would have seen that, I'm guessing he didn't see it, but if the referee would have seen that, he would have stopped the action and said, hold on, let me see if Cruz is okay. Are you all right? Gather yourself and let's continue, because getting hit in the back of the head is very, very dangerous in a sport. We remember Pritchett Colon. I have to admit, in the beginning of that fight, I thought Pritchett was faking. And even though I know how bad those hits can be, but it was very, very serious. And I was like, wow, he's getting hit in the back of the head way too much. This is crazy. And then he never came out the same again. You know, God bless him and his family. So you gotta pay attention to those shots. Now, I don't know, maybe the referee just totally didn't see it, and this is what we got, a stoppage.
I mean, obviously, in my opinion, he didn't see it, and it wasn't an intentional shot. She did. You know, sometimes a fighter places their head a certain position, or they're weaving and ducking and they get hit in the back of the head. We still have to follow the rules of the sport. And I'm sympathetic to that. I agree with you. But I totally disagree with your opinion on this. If a fighter turns around and puts his back to the opponent, but then goes in the opposite direction, that's quitting. That's giving up on the fight. You take a knee, you look at the referee, you tell him, I was hit behind the head. You don't turn around and just go in the opposite direction. I'm sorry. I mean, we talked about this years ago when Sulecki fought Rosado in Philadelphia, when he turned his back and we thought that fight should have been stopped then.
100%.
You and I both agreed on that.
Those are all legal shots by Gabriel Rosado.
But Fundora's shot wasn't intentional.
But it doesn't matter.
Intentional.
It doesn't have to be intentional to be stopped, to be deemed illegal. Because it doesn't have to be intentional.
Because when it's intentional, referee has the right to stop, time out, take a point off.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
The fighter.
But when it's not intentional, I just watched the fight the other day. Somebody got hit behind the back of the head. He fell. The referee said no knockdown. Gave him a few seconds, and they fought again.
Right. He fell.
That's what you're supposed to do.
He didn't turn his back and went in the opposite direction.
Doesn't matter. Turning your back or falling stops the action, no matter what.
If the shot hurt that much.
Wait 1 second.
But wait, what I'm saying, if the shot hurt that much, wouldn't you take a knee and tell the ref, hey, I got hit behind the head? You got to turn around and go in the opposite direction?
Are you asking the question? Yes, you can do that. But if you get hit behind the head and you're disoriented and you're not able to think like normally, then you're gonna do whatever your body does. So what I'm saying is taking a knee and getting knocked down and turning your back are all the same. Let me finish. Those three things are all the same thing. They can stop the action. And if the referee saw, if you got an illegal punch, that's it. It's an illegal punch, no matter what, whether it's intentional or not. No, it doesn't have to be intentional to stop the action.
So wait, are you telling me that shot was clearly 100% behind the head? It wasn't a hook that grazed the back of the head?
100% behind the head.
All right, if the referee didn't see that the shot was behind the head clearly, and it just seemed like a shot to him, then he has the right to stop that that fight because she turned around and went in the opposite direction. So
Absolutely, but I brought out
that.
the point. I brought out the point that we seen it. Me and you seen it.
Well,
it was
watching
behind
it
the
on
head.
TV.
Unintentional, but still behind the head. Doesn't matter. I'm just bringing out that point. You're arguing me saying, oh, even if the referee seen it, and even if it is a legal punch, it's still, she turned her head. Like, that's crazy.
Yes, I'm saying that she seemed well aware of what's going on and just wanted to take heed. I mean, like, just get away from the situation. Not taking a knee, not looking at the ref and saying I was hit behind the head, turning around and just going in the opposite direction. I feel like the ref had all the right to stop that fight. Even though I'm considering the fact that the shot could have hurt behind the head. I know it's very dangerous. I'm not being inconsiderate to Cruz.
You are.
But I'm not going to just go hard at the referee for stopping that fight.
I wasn't even going hard at the referee because I understand that you're not going to see everything I'm going hard against you. I'm not going hard against the referee. I understand you're not going to see every shot. That's it. I'm just saying that I wish he would have seen it. If he would have seen it, he could have stopped it and said, hold on, that was behind the head, unintentional, but we got to give her time to recover. Cruz.
All right, well, look, let's switch over to the main event. We can agree to disagree on that one. Let's talk about
I don't even agree that.
Munguia versus John Ryder. Look, we know that this fight is very important because John Ryder went the distance with Canelo Alvarez, one of the best fighters in the world, face of boxing, and people, I guess, saw that as a negative thing. Canelo not being able to stop him, which I don't know why. That was insane to me. This guy's a tough fighter and very durable, and Canelo did almost get him out of there. So the fact that Jaime Munguia was able to stop Ryder, which I called it, and some people made money from me with my parlay, buddy. So
your parlay didn't hit. Your parlay didn't hit all
yes,
three.
Yes, it did.
Exactly.
Yes, it did. Yes,
Damn,
absolutely.
Right. All right, so now you won.
Made y'all some money.
1 for 2. You're 1 for 2 now. 50%.
Nevertheless, let's just focus on the fact that he did stop Ryder. Now, a lot of people would say that, hey, he went 12 rounds with Canelo. He got beat and battered. Maybe that softened him up. Maybe he's not the same fighter. Some people were saying that, hey, Munguia had legendary trainer Freddie Roach in the corner, and that played a part. Now, I completely disagree with that. I'll tell you this. First off, Freddie Roach is a great trainer, but more of an offensive-minded trainer. Now, Jaime Munguia was already offensive-minded nonstop. I didn't see any subtle changes in his defense or his approach. Typical Jaime Munguia, and he was just too much for Ryder. Even though Ryder had moments at time, Munguia was pretty much in control of that fight, in my opinion. Dropped him early in the second, later on in the fight, and then, the corner didn't want to see any more. Understandably so. Now, is this Munguia's biggest win, Barak? Did he impress you? And is this it for Munguia in terms of fighting C-class, B-class fighters? Does he have to fight an elite fighter next? Or are we, as fight fans, are you and I, as hosts, are we going to make sure the buck stops here for Jaime Munguia and demand for an elite fighter?
Yes, for all the above. The only thing I would say is that, a couple of things, but one thing I would say is that I wouldn't call John Ryder a C or B class fighter. I say he's a top fighter. I say he's a top fighter, and he's a top fighter in that division, 168.
Well, isn't B class a top fighter? When I say A, Barak.
Yeah, but when you're saying C and B together, and you're throwing John Ryder's name, that don't sound good.
When I say A means, the Benavidez's of the world, the Canelos of the world, the Caleb Plants of the world. B is right
but see,
there.
at the end of the day, this is still a good fighter for Munguia no matter what. No matter what, this is the best fighter on his resume. Yeah, okay. and that's what I like, especially at 168. Let's just talk about 168. John Ryder did very well against Daniel Jacobs, even though it could have went the other way. Did decent against Canelo. Callum Smith, some people thought he won that fight, so we could be looking at a champion here, a former champion here. So this was a very, very good fight. But I did see a little bit of change in his offense because of Freddie Roach, I believe. And I believe I saw some head movements. Now, obviously, he's still going to get hit. He's not going to become a defensive genius. I don't think Freddie Roach is trying to make him that. But I did see some head movement. I seen him concentrating on moving the head and a little bit on his toes, too. Even the second knockdown in the fourth round is because he was agile. Ryder was so flat and off balance, squared up his feet, bringing his back foot up, throwing a back left hand, and then got caught with a jab. Boom! But he was just on his toes. Munguia was on his toes, and he was bouncing, he was ready, and he was balanced. So I thought that was good. You know, kind of like Maidana in the second fight with, with Floyd, the first fight with Floyd, he was a different fighter that fought Devin Alexander, you know, because he had a different trainer and Robert Garcia. So I did see a difference, but I understand what you're saying. We overall saw the same Munguia, a whole bunch of punches and overwhelming his opponent. Now, I did say before this, and you're right, you called it. Gabriel Rosado as well, he even called a round, 9th round. You did say, we're gonna see, you text me privately, you said we're gonna see a knockout. Munguia is gonna knock him out. But understand something, that we're comparing the two, their common opponent, which is John Ryder. You never know how a fighter comes into a different fight differently, but let's just say it's exactly the same. Canelo didn't do as well against John Ryder as Munguia did. But guess what the whole world is forgetting? They have another common opponent when they was both 154 pounders, and that's Liam Smith, who was a champion. Canelo stopped Liam Smith with a body shot in the 9th round, kind of like Munguia just stopped Ryder in the 9th round. And Munguia went 12 rounds with Liam Smith and only dropped him once, just like Canelo did with Ryder and only dropped him once.
Well, they have other
nobody said nothing then. Nobody, but nobody said nothing.
Opponents.
Nobody ever said anything then, is what I'm saying. Nobody said nothing then, but we're saying it now. But I get it though. I get it. It's John Ryder. He's a tough son of a gun, and Munguia got him out of there.
Yeah, I mean, look, we also have Jacobs and Callum Smith, Daniel Jacobs as well. Other common opponents that Canelo obviously washed with no problem. No disrespect, meaning
no, but I'm talking about Munguia. I'm talking about Munguia.
Okay, you talking about Munguia. I thought you were talking about
no, Munguia fought. Yes, Canelo and Munguia, common opponents.
How do we get Canelo back in this conversation? He didn't even fight this weekend because we're talking about him because of the Ryder.
That's how you started this whole thing. We're talking about this because
I'm saying,
this was an audition.
This
was an audition for Canelo, and we're saying they both fought John Ryder. Let's see who did better, and that's what you brought up.
I'm saying that Canelo is so relevant in the sport that even in not fighting, he's in the conversation, right? If there's a common opponent, so
it's his division.
Right, exactly. So we're always going to be mentioning him. But just to end things off, Barak, like and I mentioned this, you know, when I posed a question to you, I don't think Munguia get away, you know, from the fight fans just fighting another opponent of this level. Now, I'm not disrespecting Ryder. What I'm saying, he needs to be a champion or a former champion with a well-known name, and that has to happen next.
I agree. 100%.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what Golden Boy does next in the zone for Jaime Munguia. But that's our show for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace and love. Stay safe. We're out of here.